My guest today is on the Republican State Committee. He is Nicky Miceli. Welcome, Nicky, to Back to Normal.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thanks for coming on. We're gonna have a fun one today. So let me clear this and get your so people know. You know what? I didn't put your X handle on there. I should have. My apologies. You want to give it right now?
Sure. It's at Real Nicky Miceli. Real NICKY MICELI.
Yeah, your name's fully on the screen. So follow Nicky on X. Let me clear that graphic. All right. Both cameras. Here we go. Oh, it's a delicious Coke Zero afternoon. Here we go. Cheers. All right. I got some clips for you, Nicky, and we're going to get right into it.
Let's see it.
So what I'm going to do for this episode is I'm going to build it. There's going to be a progression. You're going to see this because what we're here to do, then we'll get into your story in a second, but I want to build this episode to just essentially prove why being a Republican right here and now is a good thing, because we're on the side of honesty, and the Democrats, especially those in Massachusetts, are lying through their teeth. And this is why Back to Normal is so important, so we can get this message out to actual voters so they understand what's going on, because the media is complicit in this nonsense.
Right.
And it's going to be a good thing that we get this out. So let's see here. Let's start off with this. All right. Cue it up. This is Chris Cuomo a couple weeks ago.
What you are about to hear from the Democrats is not true.
The Republican partisan spending bill that they introduced is not clean. Well, first of all, let's be clear. It's not a clean bill, it's a dirty bill. Well, that's all a lie. It's not a clean continuing resolution.
Listen, I like Hakeem Jeffries. I think he's got an amazing future. He's got better fights than this. This is a clean CR. What does that mean, by the way? Continuing resolution. Instead of passing a real budget like they should, this just says, hey, remember the last one? Let's just continue at those levels again, all right? Now, that may mean that certain people who should get less won't, certain people who need more won't, but a clean CR means that this is an extension from the last set of, in this case, Biden's spending levels. Okay? That's what a clean CR is. This is a clean CR. Wait a minute. Cuomo disagrees with Jeffries. Jeffries must be right. Don't take my word. Take the word from the Nonpartisan Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. They say this is about as clean a CR as you could get. Okay? Again, it's a continuation of a March stopgap measure. All right?
All right. There you have it from Chris Cuomo himself. Now, why do I bring that up? I bring that up because we're in the midst of a government shutdown, and Democrats are in the process of blaming us, blaming our party, and they're full of crap, and they're absolutely 100% full of crap. And I've got more clips queued up, but this is why it's a really good time, I think, to be a Republican, that we can, especially 2025, we can just get out there and just, I've got everything queued up. What is it like? How old are you? Do you mind if I ask?
22.
22. And you're out there. I mean, you're in college, or what are you working?
I'm still in college. I'm almost done. I'll be done this spring.
How does it feel to be a known Republican I won't ask what school, even if you don't want to give it out, but be a Republican on a college campus in 2025, 2026, or going into 2025?
It definitely has its negatives to that, for sure. But it's really not as bad as people think it is, though.
Okay. Are most people chill?
It's a lot. It's not quite as horrible as everyone thinks, and it certainly doesn't take as much bravery as people think.
Okay, that's good to hear, because you would think that it's constantly the drumbeat of progressivism and all this nonsense. That is there a college Republicans at your campus?
No, because we're a fairly small school, so there's no college Republicans. But I think that's just an easy way of being able, as an excuse to stay on the sidelines, to simply say that, oh, I don't want to be a conservative in front of a bunch of liberals. That's a bunch of crap. There's no reason why you can't. But if it's really not for you, as whatever you could contribute to the cause, we greatly appreciate.
Yeah.
But to the video, did you ever think 3 years ago that we'd be in a position where we're agreeing with Chris Cuomo?
I probably more the flip side. I never thought I'd be in a position where Chris Cuomo would agree with us, that we are
Right.
in the right. It's wild. And here's the weird part about Chris Cuomo is, do you not believe him now? Like, is he lying now? I don't think he's not lying now. That's a clean CR, a continuing resolution. This shutdown is on the Democrats. We're going to get more into that in a second because Catherine Clark let it slip this week, and Maura Healey's continuing to lie about it. But so this is one of these things where Chris Cuomo's sort of seen the light. What he has seen is that the gravity is going more towards normal and away from left wing. And when they're lying, he's got to call them out on the lie so he can gain more credibility. I think he's totally self-serving. I'm glad we agree with him now, but it's more of a question of, was he lying then or is he lying now? I think he was lying then. So,
yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, his brother is, his brother's about to lose to a communist in New York City. And we have some thoughts on that at the end, but we'll continue on Massachusetts politics.
Sure.
But the shutdown, let me cue up the next clip. So this is she is the House Minority Whip, Catherine Clark. She's my congresswoman.
Mine too.
Okay, well, we'll sympathize together. Here we go. Here's this. She's not that bright, by the way.
I mean, shutdowns are terrible, and of course there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously, but it is one of the few leverage times we have. I mean,
the leverage times. So that right there gave away the game, because the responsibility for this election, the responsibility for the shutdown is the Democrats. They lost the election last year. We're in the midst of it. They want to claw back gains made in the big, beautiful bill that they don't like, and now they're using the shutdown as leverage. It's clear as day. Everybody knows it, and we need to be better about making sure the voters know that. The media knows it, but they're not saying anything about it. They're not reporting about it. We'll get into some of those clips in a second. But, what do people pay attention? You're old enough to be my kid, so I'm just gonna say, do younger generations pay attention to this stuff, the ins and outs of the day-to-day politics, or are they sort of just living their own lives, or a little bit of both?
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to get into and you asked, you brought up a really good point about whether or not people are seeing this, and I think that's our job at the Republican Party right now, is to make sure that people know who's responsible for this shutdown. The only reason why Democrats have shut down the government is, one, Hakeem Jeffries wants to remain liked by the far left faction of his party.
That's a really good point.
And in addition, thank you. And in addition to that, we have the presidency, we have the Senate, and we have the House. So it's very easy right now for the Democrats to just say the government shut down. This is on Trump and the Republicans. It's a lot easier to say that than to tell the truth. And because not everybody is as informed as we are. Not everybody knows that you need 60 Senate votes to keep the government open.
Very good point.
So they just see Republicans have the Senate. Why are they letting the government shut down? And as we know, that's not the truth. So it's our job right now to inform people on that.
Right. So they are digging in their heels over this continuing resolution to keep the funding of the government open. And like Catherine Clark said, they're using this time as leverage to get more of what they want, and they think they're going to get away with it because in the past, Republicans have been blamed, and in some cases, like with Ted Cruz, rightfully so, for government shutdowns, where we're on the side of shutting down the government. Personally, though, on this side, look, I'm a conservative, small government guy. I'm okay with the government shutting down. All right, so this is not that big a deal. I'm not grasping at my pearls, and most people's lives are not affected by it. If you want to go to the national parks, we'll get into some government programs in a second that the talking points locally are affecting. But I think it's really important that people know that most of their lives aren't affected by the federal government on a day-to-day basis. Our troops are still stationed. We're still being protected. It's more of a case, the Social Security checks still go out. It doesn't impact everybody's day-to-day lives, but it's real political theater for the Democrats in this case, where they're absolutely taking advantage of this. And we're going to get into the people who are affected next up. So let's take a pause here. Why'd you run for Republican State Committee?
Well, I just think that really everything just lined up perfectly. There was a vacancy. I was looking to get involved, and I thought that people are really ready to see new leadership step to the plate and lead this party going forward. And I think what we just saw, not just when I got elected, but you saw around the state a lot of new people on the state committee when we went in for our reorganizational meeting 2 years ago. And I really just was a guy who just wanted to get involved, and I just thought it would be something that I'd be good at. It's an activist role. It's not necessarily a governing role, although we do govern the party, but that's a different story.
But it's an important role. A lot of people don't understand what the state committee might do, and it's 80 people,
Yes.
a man and a woman from each state Senate district. So there's 40 state Senate districts, and they get to vote on important things like the party platform, who becomes chair, all those types of things. And it's real important that they select the leadership that can move the party forward. And I think, it's good for you. It's great. I'm glad you stepped up. We need more young people to get involved with it. Excuse me, my Coke Zero is coming up. We need more people to get involved in politics that are willing to do the hard work. And it's good that you stepped up. I got to applaud you. You don't see many young people doing so, getting involved, but good for you. I'm glad you did it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm a grassroots guy. I like bringing people together and helping other people get involved. And that's what I've spent my time on the state committee doing.
Excellent. Anything you're particularly interested in as far as issues go, or what you want to focus on maybe for this, next year's election in 26 that we want to focus on?
What I would say is important is that whoever we have as our gubernatorial nominee going into 2026, they need to stick to the issues when we face Maura Healey. Maura Healey's going to talk about Trump nonstop. And the reason she keeps talking about Trump right now is because she can't run on her own record. Seriously, if you were
1,000% correct.
If you were a advisor to Maura Healey right now, what would you campaign on right now?
Oh, you'd campaign on blaming Trump and trying to drum up the base of your party for it, like doing nothing.
They understand the math. They know that President Trump got 36% of the vote in Massachusetts, which, by the way, is not terrible for Massachusetts.
No,
however,
that's a good point. I mean, so there's like 1 out of 3 voters, more than 1 out of 3 voters voted for him, including myself, you and me, we did. But
exactly. So the Healey campaign's just looking at the numbers, and they're just seeing the fact that President Trump isn't popular in Massachusetts. So what we need to do, we just need to ride an anti-Trump wave to victory.
I think they're grossly miscalculating. It's not going to work. They're sort of like, Massachusetts is more small C conservative, meaning they don't like too many bumps in the road. They don't like too many changes. They might not be conservative Republicans, but they're definitely, they don't like, they like things kind of the way they are. And Maura Healey is the opposite of the way they want them to be, meaning, illegal aliens, importing them, attractive policies that keep them here, all that kind of stuff. And we'll get into some of that stuff in a second, because I've got more videos queued up. But we really have to keep hammering this home, that she is an outlier. And she has nothing to run on but Trump. And we're in really good shape. I think we're really in good shape.
And I don't think she's a very gifted politician, to be honest with you. Like, you take someone like Ed Markey, on the other hand, say what you will about Ed, but Ed plays the game very well. I mean, he beat a Kennedy 5 years ago. He's been there for 50 years now. Yeah. Maura Healey does not have that same skill. She's not charismatic, and she doesn't come off as a very happy and exciting person. She just goes up there and she screams. I cringe every time I watch her speak.
Yeah, that's a really good point. She does not seem very happy, and that that toothy smile that she gives is something to behold. No, you bring up a good point. Speaking of which, why don't we get into that for a second here? Let's cue the next bit up here, because this is important. So she gave a press conference, and I want to let's play. Yeah, this is at the right spot here. So by the way, anytime you want me to pause, just say, can you pause? Just ask to say pause, and I'll pause it.
With whatever funds we have available. But really what needs to happen is the president needs to make a different choice. Release the billions of funds that are available for food right now, and let those benefits continue to flow, as has been the case during every shutdown in history. That is what must happen.
Governor, you have
we're freezing.
multi-billion-dollar rainy day fund. Why not tap that for something like this?
So in case you didn't hear it, the reporter asked, we have a multi-billion-dollar rainy day fund, which we do, and it costs about $200 million a month for SNAP benefits. And this government shutdown, which in this press conference, Governor Healey said this is Trump's fault. The other clips we played, this is why the internet is beautiful, and I like 2025 that we get to do this. Catherine Clark said they're shutting it down because they want to use leverage. Chris Cuomo himself says this is a clean CR, that the Republicans passed a clean CR. The Democrats have caused this. And she gets up there and she lies through her teeth, and she knows this. And we're going to get into more of her lies in a second. Now the reporter asked her about the rainy day fund.
Again, I said, Chris, the money, the state doesn't have the money to do what needs doing.
Nicky,
We don't?
Nicky, how much did we spend on illegal aliens at the migrant hotels? Do you happen to know that?
I believe it's $2 million a month, or is it more?
Oh, thus far, since it started, it's been $1 billion.
$1 billion.
$1 billion with a
now.
B. $1 billion with the B. Let me rewind this. If I can do this. Can I do this 10 seconds? Oh, look at this. I can. Let's hear that again.
Multi-billion-dollar rainy day fund.
Multi-billion-dollar rainy day fund.
Why not tap that for something like this?
Again, I said, Chris, the money, the state doesn't have the money to do.
The state doesn't have the money. We don't have the money. I don't like to curse on this program. Bullshit. We had the money. She blew it on her progressive policies. We are in rough shape because of her, because she doesn't know what she's doing. She's an activist. She's not an executive. And this is clearly she's lying through her teeth. I'm going to let this roll a little bit more because there's more she gets into.
What needs doing. $240 million a month is what the state receives. Its residents receive from the federal government.
So 240. So 1 month, 2 months, 3, 4 months. 4 months worth of SNAP benefits could have been taken care of by what we spend on illegal aliens in the state of Massachusetts.
We're asking about whether or not people are believing us. Check out that ratio: 67 replies to it with just 14 likes, one of them being your own.
I might have clicked the wrong unlike it. I think I bookmarked it and then I liked it. Oh well, this is You know what? I liked it because sometimes I do likes for to track it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You can always tell when they're full of crap.
Right.
When they post something and the ratio is one way or the other, and the Democrats, this is what's great about being a Republican now, is they still think it's like 1997 or something, where they can just go on camera at a press conference, lie through their teeth. The media will play along, which they did in this case, and we're going to play more of that in a second. And then there's no after effects, and then they can spin it any way they want.
Right, but now all we have to do is just find out what's really in the rainy day fund, and as well as how much money has been misspent by the state over the last 3 years that she's been governor.
That's it. And that's why this program exists. No, you bring up an excellent point. That's why I did this show. That's why I have guys like you on, is so we can bring this stuff up so the public actually knows what's happening and we can move the ball forward. Let's do that. She keeps going.
For these benefits. So you can't begin to make this up. And also, let's not forget, okay? The reality here, just to lay it out for everybody, what's happened in the last few months. President Trump has cut $3.7 billion from Massachusetts. President Trump has kicked a potential of 350,000 base staters off of Medicaid.
Now, notice her language there. That's a complete lie. Complete lie.
That's not true.
Do you know why? I mean, I'll let you go for it. But
350,000 people have not been taken off Medicaid in Massachusetts.
That's correct. Because what the big beautiful bill did, and this was a good thing out of the big beautiful bill, it required people. So I put up the article because this is from National Review. Sorry, Democrats, Republican work requirements are modest and empowering. What the big beautiful bill did was ask for work requirements, meaning people had to show they were trying to get a job or working in order to qualify for Medicaid, which is a good thing. We don't want people just taking benefits forever and ever without actually being productive members of society. It's a good thing. Now, her language in that clip, she's like, potentially kick off 350,000. She says potentially because you know what their big argument against work requirements are? Well, they might forget to do paperwork, and the paperwork's really hard. I'm not lying. That's an actual. Who was the congresswoman that said that? I don't have that queued up, but I should.
Yeah.
But basically, they're worried people won't fill out the paperwork correctly, and then they'll get thrown off Medicaid. Well, let me say this: maybe they don't fill it out correctly, or they won't fill it out at all. They should fill it out. These are my tax dollars, your tax dollars if you're working, your parents' tax dollars. We work hard for our money. And if they need to fill out paperwork so they get tax dollars to pay for their health care in the form of Medicaid, that should be happening affirmatively. Again, Healey lying to the people of Massachusetts. Let's get into this.
President Trump has kicked another 50,000 Massachusetts residents off of health care.
Do you know who those 50,000 residents are? Illegal aliens.
Yeah, I was about to guess that.
Because their new doublespeak, all this crap that they point out, I should have let you guess, my bad, is because Trump, which by the way, Democrats say illegal aliens aren't getting benefits anyway, but she actually proves them lying about this. This is when we get into more and more of the lies. Now, look, I like to hammer this stuff because it's fun, but this is a good time for me. But
she's so angry all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean when I say she's not a good politician. She's so angry all the time. I mean, look at her.
Yeah. No, let me do the faces. Hang on. All right, let's see if I can wait. If I go full screen here, let me do
If
that.
you go full screen.
Yeah, go full screen. All right, hang on. Let me go back up. Go ahead. Here we go.
A potential of 350,000 base staters off of Medicaid. President Trump has kicked another 50,000.
It's just unlikable. I mean, look, I don't know what it says about us that we didn't beat her last time, but that's a story for another day. But listen, we're in real good shape to beat her this time here. We'll keep going.
Massachusetts residents off of health care in the form of Obamacare. And that's just some of what is happening. In addition to President Trump's decision to continue with tariffs that are only raising the cost of everything from food to housing. And it's in this context that all of us as governors and states have to operate. It's very challenging. It's very challenging, which is why I always want to be straight with the public about what's really happening.
Did she just say housing?
Yes. Yeah.
Good God. Does she know anything about Massachusetts? Has she talked to anybody who's trying to buy a home here? Has she asked anybody?
I would doubt it. The most of the problems that for housing are caused by all the bureaucratic red tape that Democrats have put into place. The onerous, was it Michelle Wu putting in, all the building code upgrades or environmental regulations downtown
you have all
Boston?
These environmental code regulations. You have the MBTA Communities Act.
Yep.
And it drives up the costs of housing everywhere. Rents are ridiculous, and especially for and I think this is going to be a key issue on voters. You were talking about young voters earlier. I think that's going to be a key issue when you have people in their 20s, late 20s, even early 30s who are still living with their parents because they can't afford to stay in the state.
Where are they thinking about moving? Where I mean, look,
they're all headed to New Hampshire, in Florida, and
okay,
anywhere but here. We by the way, we lose. I think besides Rhode Island and New England, we're the most left state. I
mean people leaving?
People leaving.
Yeah.
I think
I thought you meant
Island,
politically left. I would have said, yeah, either way, you're right. Either way, you're correct.
Well, Vermont had us beat there. I mean, they're socialists there, but
good point.
Yeah, people are leaving the state, and like in my town in Natick, there are so many homes out on the market right now, and nobody's buying them because nobody can afford to move into them.
Yeah, no, it's a real shame. No, the fact that I mean, I think you nailed it earlier when you said that she's not a good politician, and she can't run on anything. So all of this is just blame Trump. And
she lived anywhere else, she would never get as far as she's gotten here. If she was running 100%. For office in New Hampshire, they would laugh at her.
Yeah. No, total joke. I want to queue up. All right, this next one, just to keep it going, because this is the stuff that sort of irritates me. I expect her to lie. I expect it because she's got no other options. But when I see the media start to be complicit in her nonsense, that's when I get pissed off. This is Charmin Sacchetti. She used to be with Fox 25. Now she's with WCVB. The ABC affiliate here. Now, this is an interesting one because you think that she's reporting something that she would call out, but you can't quite tell because it sounds like she endorses it. So let's listen to this.
There's now an alert on a Massachusetts government website blaming President Trump for letting SNAP benefits dry up. It says he's choosing not to issue SNAP benefits that help people put food on their table. More than 1 million people in Massachusetts, including more than 300,000 children, could go hungry if their SNAP benefits run out next week. This is all because of the government shutdown. Governor Healey, she is criticizing the president for building this huge ballroom at the White House, but won't keep paying for food stamps. She says he could use contingency funds, but won't.
As we sit here and Donald Trump builds that ballroom.
Oh, God, did you see her? She closes her eyes like she's at church, like she's doing a sermon or something like that.
And that's something that the media is not covering fairly either, the White House ballroom, regardless of whether or not you think that the president should be able to build an extension or remodel the White House which he should and he can. But what is important to remember is that too many people are not aware that the taxpayers are not funding that project. They have private investors that are investing in this project, including President Trump. They're donating.
Wait,
yes.
say that one more time for the audience at home, because we got to get that out there for the people, especially Charmin Sacchetti, who we're going to rip her apart in a second. One more time, please.
The East Wing Ballroom is funded by donations made by Meta and Google, Comcast, and there's a list of about 40 others, including Trump, who's putting his own personal funds into this project. So you, the taxpayer, are not funding this project. It's all out there. You could Google it. You could fact check me all you want. It's the truth. I could pull up the list of 50 names of people that are funding this project.
When we post this episode, feel free to put it in the reply, any of the content that you want to fact check.
Yes, because I was reading this the other
transparent.
day. I was reading it. Yep. There's about 50 different companies and donors who are funding this project.
Yeah. All right. So let's just rewind here. Okay. So, well, no, you know what? I'm going to let the clip play out here with Reverend Healey.
It's an opportunity to release billions of funds that will provide these benefits.
Project Bread says these are working families who rely on SNAP, and they just aren't making enough money to get by. Some of them told us they're worried they're going to have to choose between rent, electricity, or food. There's now an alert.
Okay, so one thing that Sharman Siketti doesn't do, and she's a member of the press, and she could have done, was point out about the clean CR and why the government shut down, about Catherine Clark saying it's leverage, and the Democrats caused the government shutdown. She neglects to put any of that in there, and she doesn't say, it says, so let's listen here.
Massachusetts government website blaming President Trump for letting SNAP benefits dry up.
Okay, reporter woman. Okay, this is on my camera. Sharman Siketti. Did you bother to put that the government shutdown was caused by Democrats, by Catherine Clark admitting it, by the clean CR that even Cuomo agrees with? No, you didn't. This is the crap I'm so sick and tired of. She shows up, by the way, at Republican big events when they're reporting on it and tries to be all buddy, and we're supposed to just horribly biased. They need to get called out. It's a bunch of nonsense. I'm going to continue. There's more.
It says he's choosing not to issue SNAP benefits that help people put food on their table. More than 1 million people in Massachusetts, including more than 300,000 children, could go hungry if their SNAP benefits run out next week. This is all because of the government shutdown.
Which she doesn't say who's causing the government shutdown.
Oh, right. She's a journalist. That's her job.
To do what?
Her job is to report the truth. And it's too short to be put in a 50-second video that she has uploaded here. And she's not being honest with the American people. And people try to talk about this stuff like it's science, and it's really not. No. You need 60 Senate votes, and the Democrats are essentially cutting SNAP benefits. And by the way, politically speaking, what they're doing is working perfectly. Of course, they're doing a terrible job lying about it.
Yeah.
But it's simple. Make people go hungry, blame the party that's in the majority right now, and then maybe that will help you win the midterms next year.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. They're just, it's craven politics.
We truly do have never-ending elections here. We're always in an election season. I mean, let's be honest. When people tell me that we're not in an election year, I say that's bogus. We're always in an election year.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, you're like me probably, though. You're going to be a political junkie your whole life. And the question is, are we going to be on the winning side of it? And look, it's stuff like this. It's shows like ours that are going to get the message out to people of what the truth is, of what is really going on, that this government shutdown is actually caused by the Democrats. Maura Healey's lying through her teeth. And, new media, this is why she's legacy media. Sharman Siketti. So it doesn't even matter anymore. I mean, look, this is the headlines that have been going on the past 72 hours with this, and I think it's critical that we get to the point where the people of Massachusetts really understand what's going on here, and there definitely will because of this program.
She's also has a tough ratio on there too, though.
Oh yeah, let me throw it back up. So
we have 494 replies. 255 likes.
Yep. Again. And I don't know who Chris Ress is, but Healey has zero credibility. Yep.
Would you mind just sliding down for a second? That second tweet. Take a look. So that's a text being sent out by the governor right now. I haven't received one of those yet. But
President Trump is currently, good catch. President Trump is currently choosing not to issue November SNAP benefits that help you and many families put food on your table. Wow. So this is actually illegal, what they're doing right now, because they're using political messaging within government. This is when people got upset at Biden for having essentially a political rally at the White House, all that stuff. When you use government functions to play politics in terms of elections and blaming, this is actually illegal.
And just to the recipients of SNAP. That's
right.
That's what Mike
so
says
you also may have your benefits further cut starting in November because of changes congressional Republicans and the president and President Trump enacted in the One Big Beautiful Bill. No, your benefits won't get cut. You have to fill out the paperwork. You have to try to get a job or get a job. That's what's taking place. Again, more lies. Now this is, obviously if they're going to use the government infrastructure to do this, they're going to lie about it thoroughly. man, we got to win back the corner office next year.
This is just reeks of desperation at that point.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. This is something that I think it's all hands on deck, no matter who our nominee is, and I mean this. I'm fully behind whoever it's going to be, because we got to get more Healey out of office.
I share that same belief. Although I have chosen who I will go with the primary.
Who's that?
Mike Minogue.
Okay,
but
I'm trying to get Mike Minogue on. Mike, Brian, I'm working with your teams, trying to get you in here. Please, please come on. Well, just so you know, Nicky, I'm neutral.
Sure.
I have to be neutral for this.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm going to be neutral in this. I want to get everybody on. I want to help get all of their messages out.
Should Mr. Minogue fall short in the primary, I unhesitatingly will be willing to assist the Keneally or short sleeve campaign should they win the nomination.
You're a smart young man. There you go. No,
well, I'm a pragmatist. You
know? Good point. I like it. No, you should. That's a pragmatic way to be. Well, look, I got to say that I think we have 3 outstanding candidates.
Yes,
I mean that this is not, they're all accomplished, intelligent, successful, and would be leaps and bounds better than Maura Healey. So we're honestly lucky to be in the situation that we're in.
Yeah, I would never go on a show and trash a fellow Republican, so I will put it this way. I do think the 3 candidates that we have running right now are better than a lot of the past candidates that we've run. Like I said, I'm not going to throw names out there because I don't like to trash my fellow Republicans, but I think these three.
I agree.
I think these 3 are much more skilled than prior nominees that we've had.
Yeah. No, we are in really good shape. All right, we got a few. I'll call them. This is a palate cleanser. All right, okay. We're gonna. So this isn't related to the state stuff that we got going on here.
Gotcha.
So let's that one. Oh, well, actually, this is city. If you didn't catch this, Michelle Wu, Boston Globe, 2 days ago. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu reiterated her call for the Massachusetts legislature to repeal a state law known as Prop 2.5, which limits how much cities and towns can levy in property taxes every year. This is classic Wu. She doesn't want to cut government spending. She doesn't want to get her fiscal house in order in the city. All she wants to do is soak taxpayers with higher rates so she can fund a bigger, useless bureaucracy at Boston City Hall. And first of all, the reason why Prop 2.5 exists
wasn't that like 40 years ago too?
Prop 2.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you know why they did it?
Not completely. I just know this isn't a new law.
No, it's been around forever.
Right.
For good reason. It is a wall. It keeps cities and towns in check so that they don't raise property taxes and local taxes through the roof. So people and waste the money on hack jobs, grift, and government bloat. It's a very good stopgap, and she wants it gone. She wants it gone. She wants to soak the taxpayers of the city of Boston so she can just fund city, because people are corporations that are not moving downtown for offices.
No.
With all the climate mandates she's put in for all new buildings, so people aren't even building residences downtown anymore because it's too expensive. On top of that, the percent that must be low income or affordable housing is so high that it doesn't make the building profitable. So nobody's building downtown. Nobody's fixing anything up downtown.
There are so many unoccupied buildings in Boston right now. It's ridiculous. These big office buildings, you'll go in there, they're completely gutted. Nothing there.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So she wants more taxpayer dollars to fund her nonsense, and that's why she wants to get rid of Prop 2.5. But this is the state of Massachusetts put a lot of these mechanisms in place, like the Prop 2.5, like Boston, or no rent control is allowed in Massachusetts, because we had all these bad ideas and all this stuff was happening. where they would, the rent control was screwing over the commercial property market in Boston, Cambridge, Somerville. So they put on all this place, rightfully so, because Boston could do it all on its own. It's so big comparatively to Massachusetts, it could tank everything around here. So they put stuff like this in place. But I want you to wrap things up here. Wait, which one did I want? No, we'll do this. This is James Carville. In case for future elections, let's remember this one.
You know what we do with collaborators,
right?
And I my fantasy dream is that this nightmare ends in 2029, and I think we ought to have radical thing. I think they all ought to have their heads shaven. They should be put in orange pajamas, and it should be marched down Pennsylvania Avenue, and the public should be invited to spit on them. All of these collaborators.
These people are out of their minds. They're out of their minds.
What a tough guy, right? We're going to spit on him.
Well, he's 100 years old. He looks like a skeleton. It's a bit ridiculous. But look, just in case people don't understand what's at stake here, I don't think these people are kidding. Like James Carville's not kidding. The other old geezer on the screen, I don't even know who that is laughing along. They think that they're fighting the good fight. They think everybody else is a Nazi. And by the way, they're defending the actual Nazi that's running for office up in Maine, our neighbor to the north, this Plattner guy who has a Nazi tattoo. You couldn't find a Democrat willing to go to say, nah, he should drop out, where they have a legitimate candidate on the who's more centrist, but he's an out-and-out communist, has a Nazi tattoo, and you wouldn't find anybody that said boo about them to get this knucklehead to drop out.
And the response has been, well, he really grew from that experience. Can you honestly say, if that were a Republican candidate who had a Nazi tattoo on them, that they would be forgiven in the same way that they've forgiven Plattner? I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
It's absolutely not.
It's the same people in 2 weeks ago when Jay Jones was talking about how he wanted to kill the children of his political opponents and they wish they were assassinated.
Oh, yeah, it happened.
Everybody shuts up. We're sick of it. These people are out of their minds. This geezer wants everybody thrown in jail after the fact, after the next administration, if they get elected.
But that has to be the biggest motivator here right now, is that if Republicans sit on their hands and we just relax, we got the White House back, we can chill. You're going to allow people like Catherine Clark, who have said that they have shut down the government and actually taken food off the table for people for their own political gain. If you remember back 2 years ago, the reason Kevin McCarthy got ousted as Speaker is because he refused to shut the government down. And I think the fact that they're willing to go ahead and do this just shows they will do whatever it takes to win an election. They literally would take Donald Trump's name off the ballot. Funny enough, we're talking about Maine right now. They literally took his name off the ballot. So you're not even going to let people vote for him. That's how scared you are. And the extent that they will go to win an election. And I completely agree with you. I don't think this gentleman here, James Carville, is. Do
you know who James Carville is?
You're
very young, so I'll give you credit.
I've seen him on Newsmax before.
Yeah, so he was Bill Clinton's advisor back in the 90s, back when he didn't look like as much of a skeleton.
Oh, well, it gets better. You know who else goes on Newsmax too is Barney Frank too.
He's still around.
He's still around.
Oh, man. All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for us here at Back to Normal. On the screen is the QR code and the link to donate to the Republican Party. Help us out. Help us win this next election next year. How about this program? Because I need some, maybe a better background or something like that. We're gonna fix it up real nice here. So this has been Back to Normal. And I'll throw the graphic up on the screen. My guest today, I want to thank you, Nicky Miceli. I'm sorry, Miceli. Damn it. I was going to do damn it, my bad. My wife's Italian, so I'm just used to saying it a certain way.
Right.
But Nicky Miceli, Republican State Committee, thanks for coming on. I'm going to do something a little different this time. I'm going to dedicate a song that you might not have heard of, but we're going to play it on X. We can't play it on YouTube and Facebook because it'll get flagged. But this song, I'll put it out up here. This song goes out to Zoran Mamdani. This is Common People by William Shatner. I'm going to turn off the microphones once we play it. We'll play it out on this, but I felt it appropriate since it looks like they're going to get a communist mayor. And he's such an awful little Nepo baby. His parents were loaded. His mom was like a Hollywood director. He goes around pretending to be a peasant and eat rice with his hands. He is a communist. And this is just like the perfect song. It came to me when I saw Pulp did the original version back in the 90s. But we'll take everybody. As Bill O'Reilly used to say, we'll take them out with this. So here you go. Common People.